So
So what is that? Like the
you don't know what C is?
No.
Like Cristiano Ronaldo?
I know Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know what the
That's like that's what he's known. Like not what he's known for, but like
he's known for his like.
no, but like his meme, and like how he like celebrates. Like,
Is it?
yeah, he does that.
Oh, it's like when he slides on his knees, right?
No, when he like jumps in the air and just like does his whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
Yo, Cheyenne.
We're done.
No, don't kill me. Cheyenne's having fun with it.
That's the blooper. That's the
Yeah,
blooper.
I see this guy smiling behind the camera.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Beautiful.
Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our show, Real Estate Ties. I'm Kechanth, also known as Keys, also known as Mr. Mortgage, and I'm here with...
I'm Peter Gregorian, Properties with Peter on Instagram, and I'm a Toronto-based realtor focused on helping my clients transact, invest, and manage in real estate.
Yeah.
So we've got an exciting show, first introductory show. Let's just jump into it, man.
Yeah.
Like Real Estate Ties, basically the whole idea behind this podcast, or show rather, is to give our audience insights into real estate, but do it in a fun, engaging, and dynamic way, right?
Yep.
We want to make sure that we're bringing on guests. We're polling you guys, the audience, to make sure you're getting value out of this. And we want to go more into a deep dive. We don't want to do so much on market stats and inflation. Everybody's talking about that.
Yeah.
We want to bring in diverse perspectives from different members in the industry.
Yeah. Like Peter said, this is our first episode. We've been talking about this for quite some time, so
way back.
really excited that we're here. Let's appreciate the setup here that Cheyenne set up. This is really nice, really nice. Round of
It's
applause,
very
really
professional,
cool.
very professional. And yeah, it'll be a good sort of base for this show and everything we have planned ahead. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on. Keys, what's been cooking, man? It's been a couple months, I know.
Yeah. I know we were supposed to start this in January, but it's been a busy month so far. It's a good start to the year.
Yes.
2023 and 2024 has been, brutal, especially after COVID. But now, things are starting to pick up with interest rates coming down. But aside from that, I got a little haircut.
Yeah,
I
looking
know what
fresh.
everyone's thinking. It will grow back. It's all good. But yeah, like I'm just really excited. There is a lot of uncertainty in the market for sure. But before we even kind of jump into all of that and like talking about real estate in general, like Peter, why don't you introduce yourself? Who are you?
Yeah, well, I know, you and I, we met through a mutual friend of ours,
Yeah.
Aiden at ACR Detailing.
Yeah,
So just
shout
giving a
out
shout out
ACR
to
Detailing.
him.
Yeah.
He detailed my car way back or a couple months ago. So that's good. But yeah, a little bit about me. So, I mean, I got into the industry in 2022, a time when, past that COVID rush.
Yep.
But real estate has always been something that I've been interested in from a young age. And I think a lot of people in Canada can really speak to this. Real estate is such a big part of daily life here.
Yep.
I mean, it's one of the drivers of our economy. But more so, my parents really introduced me to real estate. As a young child, like I was basically brought to open houses, and that opened the door figuratively and literally into the world of real estate. So it planted that seed. And I think our sort of stories are the same, where real estate was brought into our lives at a young and early age.
Yeah, similar for sure.
Now, that seed definitely sprouted a lot later. Like I said, it was something that was in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But, throughout the years, it's always been something of interest to me. Now, I am a passionate automotive enthusiast, explaining our connection with Aiden. But with real estate, it's something a little bit different. Cars are more so my hobby, and real estate is more so what pays the bills, but also it's what I enjoy doing on a day-to-day basis, right? I love helping people. I love transacting. I love negotiating. And I just love seeing people happy in their homes.
Yeah, definitely. And when you do it right, when you do real estate right, it is definitely an honorable job.
It is.
for
It's
sure.
very
So,
rewarding, for
yeah.
sure, for sure.
For sure. So, before we kind of jump more into that stuff, tell us what you were doing before real estate. Kind of dive a little deeper into that, right? Like, talk about those skills that you learned at those other jobs and how that's translating into real estate now.
Right. Well, there's three core things that I think set me apart from others in the industry. And really, I think talking about my own story, this goes back to my university days. So I have a really strong foundation. I went to probably one of the best business schools in the country, Ivy Business School, shout out to them. And I got a really strong foundation in general management. So I learned finance, marketing, sales, negotiations. And basically, I brought all this together. And I think that's why real estate excites me so much, because it's a way for me to bring sort of all my core skills into the industry and really set myself apart.
Yeah.
With that being said, when I graduated, I actually did end up doing a stint in the automotive industry. Yeah. So trying to see if that's where my passion really lied. But it didn't really end up clicking with me. Now, mind you, that was in a sales planning capacity. So that's where a little bit more of my analytical skills came into play. But I've seen myself as a people's person. I enjoy marketing. And so then from there, I transitioned into a more sales, client-facing, marketing-focused role at a print ad agency.
Yeah.
And through that is where I developed my love for helping people, more so on the front end of things, right? And yeah, in 2022, that's when I decided to make the leap into the real estate industry, seeing an opportunity. You know, I think Warren Buffett said that be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. And I'm not saying that I'm greedy, but I'm just saying that I saw an opportunity to kind of set a foundation when a time when others were
really scared.
Potentially, scared, right?
Yeah, getting into the market during COVID is like right after COVID when everyone is so fearful, and sticking through that, it doesn't get worse than this, right?
For sure.
So,
and it's a time to learn a lot.
Yeah.
That's when you really, really learn a lot.
Yeah.
But Keys, like, tell me about yourself. I know we've known each other for a little bit now, but I don't really know like your backstory. Like, tell me how you got
we can definitely
into
share this
industry.
with everyone. So honestly, let's take it similar to you. I also, I'm sure that a lot of our audience would be able to relate to this as well, being the children of immigrant parents, right? So that struggle definitely piqued my interest with financial literacy in general, right? And moving from house to house, you just know how hard it is to afford a home, right?
Now more than ever.
Yeah, now more than ever for sure. But with the correct guidance, of course, like it's not impossible, and we'll get to that in just a bit. But yeah, so as I got older, let's go back to 2017 when I'm like second, third year university.
Yeah.
Really, my interest for real estate was all-time high, right? And basically what I started doing or wanted to get into is something called wholesaling real estate.
Okay, that's very big in the US from what I know.
Yeah. So exactly, right? So it's very well known in the US, guys like Ryan Panetta, King Kong, these guys, so these guys are the ones who really kind of I was introduced to this wholesaling real estate through them, right?
Okay.
And essentially, to kind of explain what wholesaling real estate is you find these distressed properties or properties on the market, right, that have been on the market for quite some time, and you kind of just go to the owner who's a little bit desperate seller, and you kind of just tell them, hey, I want to buy, like Peter, if you have a distressed property, for example, I'd ask you to buy it from you for, I don't know, 350K. Right, let's say 350K. Now, what I can do is I can sign a contract or create a contract where I'd be able to leave in the schedule. I can assign this property to someone else within the next 15 to 30 business days. Right now, if I, for example, Cheyenne here, he wants to buy this property from me now, and I sell it to him at 375 or assign it to him at 375. I simply make the difference there, right?
Got it.
So 25K. Now, obviously, being a 21-year-old at the time who really didn't know anything about the market, really, all I really knew how to do was hustle and hunt for those deals. I did get close to a couple of deals, right? But especially with COVID being so hot at the time and the MLS being so hot at the time, realtors were very sneaky with it. And, it was honestly, if you didn't know what you were doing properly, it was better for sellers to go with the realtor because they just get something high on the MLS, right? So, that was an 8-month journey, and honestly, I know that might have been a little overwhelming, but it was a huge foundation to the start of my real estate career.
That's good.
Right?
I think it's important to take those risks early on.
Right.
Yeah, because you learn a lot. You learn what you like, what you don't like.
Exactly.
And I guess that kind of led you to your next stage. So
and it taught me a lot, right? So like I was able to learn more about the legal side of things,
right?
Talking to realtors, talking to sellers, talking to buyers, working and collabing with others in the market as well. So that was really good experience. Honestly, till even now, like I would still really try to explore wholesaling real estate again. But right now I'm just kind of focused on Mr. Mortgage in general, right?
Okay.
So went back to school, finished that. finished at University of Toronto, and then I tried to become a realtor, and I took that first
Okay.
course, passed that first course, took that second course, I failed that second
Man,
course.
the second one is a hefty one.
Yeah, and
you
I
know?
suck at taking tests.
It's a big one.
So yeah, I took that test, tried it again,
Yeah.
didn't go completely through with it. So, I kind of just gave up on that as well. And, one thing I also want to say, and I guess we'll talk more about it when we bring like our entrepreneurial guests on as
Yep.
well, is just, when that person is serious. And I guess I just wasn't as serious as I
Right.
am now, right?
Yeah.
And
You need
like,
to have that laser focus.
yeah, to just
right?
put your all into it and not
For
have
sure.
so much in different baskets, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, so then one day, one of my investor buddies, he was kind of telling me how he was struggling to get a mortgage, and a bell just like a light bulb
Spark
just
went
went in my
on.
head,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, damn, everyone needs a mortgage, right?
sure.
And I was always that guy who's really interested in crunching the numbers too. And then
Nice.
when you learn more about mortgages, you understand the different type of products that are out there, the way that you can structure deals. Rental income, rental properties is huge.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole game of private, commercial,
Right.
and so on and so forth. I'm not yet to be certified to do private, although my managers and my brokerage is.
Good.
So that's definitely something that we still offer. But with that being said, yeah, like I took that course, and I'm going into year 3 now. So here we are, right?
Awesome.
It's going to be a good one.
That's
It's gonna be a
great,
good
man.
one.
Yeah, I think 2025 is starting to look like a good year.
Yeah.
When I started in 2022, I mean, it was a lot of planting seeds. I didn't do very many transactions.
And we were a lot younger too. So,
Yeah, of course.
we just weren't those experts that we are
Yeah,
now.
I
for
mean, it
sure.
takes time to really build that knowledge base.
Yeah.
And so that's what the first few years look like, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
planting those seeds, talking to all your connections, learning as much as possible, and then getting to that point, which I envision 2025 being that year where stuff starts to sprout.
Yeah.
And then we
we're
really
seeing
start
that.
to.
We're seeing that, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, Peter, let me ask you one thing here.
Yeah.
If why should someone come to you? And I don't want one of those answers that you would hear a realtor say, like, I really want you to think about this one. Take a minute
Of
here.
course.
Take a second here, and I want you to tell me why someone should come to you.
Of course. So, I mean, we know the stats. There, I think, are over 70,000 realtors in the GTA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what sets everyone apart really varies by person.
Mm-hmm.
For myself, I think I alluded to this already in the beginning of our conversation, but there's 3 core things. So the first thing is I have a strong foundation, right? So I graduated from business school. I operate at a more professional level, I would
Sales
say.
skills. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have that business degree. I bring a lot more competence to the table.
Yeah.
That's sort of the first bucket, which I've already talked about. The second one is really, it stems from my core values. And these have been ingrained in me from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's my honesty, my transparency, and my down-to-earth approach to doing these deals. At the end of the day, I know housing is probably one of people's largest purchases.
It probably is their largest.
Or it is
purchase.
their largest, right?
Yeah.
And it's a very emotional purchase at that, right? So you need someone you can trust who's going to be honest with you and who's going to be transparent with you, because these are big numbers, a lot of money changing hands here,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of due diligence that's required,
Yeah.
right? So I bring all that to the table. And I make my clients feel comfortable. I think that's the most important thing. They need to feel comfortable working with you. And I would say my focus is on the long game, right? A lot of others in the industry are focusing on that short-term gain. Like, oh, where can I make a quick buck?
Yeah.
But for me, I don't even think about the money. I think about helping people get into their homes at the best price possible to make sure that they're set up for success in the future.
Yeah. And that's reoccurring revenue anyways. So.
Exactly. If you do a good job now, whether you make money or you don't, that will plant seeds for the future, right? And then that's what this business is all based on. It's all based on referrals, right? So if you do a good job now, those referrals will eventually come.
Yeah.
Whether that's a month from now, whether that's a year from now, I truly believe that if you do a good job, you'll reap the rewards down the line.
Yeah. And one thing I can attest to here as well with Peter specifically is he's not just saying that he's patient and down to earth and transparent. Like, he definitely is. Like, and one thing I also want to say is, like, there's a lot, you want to find a realtor who's actually going to go bat for you. I will give it to the realtors out there that can, compete and negotiate, and they're killers when it comes to the market, and I'll give them that. But there are also a lot of realtors out there who are trying to make a quick buck. Anything that kind of comes onto their table is what they're kind of producing to you, right? You want a realtor who is going to find something of budget for you, something of importance to you, something that's actually for you, right? And a good deal, right? And Peter's done that countless times in front of me as well, right? And even when I was looking for a property, he was helping me a lot with that as well. Now, huge thing that people also don't see that goes behind the scenes is negotiation. And Peter is just absolutely wonderful at negotiating deals. And you won't really see it until you are a part of the buying process. And negotiation is a huge part of that buying process, right? So, yeah.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
For real.
Thank you. That speaks volumes, and it means a lot. You know,
Yeah.
coming from my business partner and someone who
Yeah,
I've
I mean, if I haven't
helped in
said
the
it
past.
already, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
And
this podcast got us opening up. And
yeah,
stuff.
getting emotional out here. But
Good.
hey, I think one last thing I also want to mention is from choosing a realtor, right? It's you want to find someone who is constantly improving themselves because there's a lot changing in this industry. There's a lot changing in asset classes. There's a lot changing in the market. So I think one thing I can speak to about myself is I'm constantly trying to learn. I'm constantly trying to improve. And one of the reasons I got into this industry was because I had such an interest in all the different asset classes, condos, commercial, homes, semi-detached, whatever it is, all these names, all these different types of asset classes, really is interesting. And kind of speaking to what you were talking about, Keys, was I've done that. I've gone above and beyond your baseline level of education through real estate school. I've gotten 3 additional certifications. So I did my accredited buyer representative certification. I did my real estate negotiation expert certification, and then I've also done a seller representative certification.
There you go.
So that just goes to show that I am really invested in this, and through my own success, I'm hoping to translate my knowledge to my clients.
Yeah,
as
I
well.
mean, if you weren't serious, we wouldn't be sitting here. Right
Exactly.
now,
And
right?
I think one of the reasons we are partnered is because I see those same core values in you. When I've brought clients to you, you've sat down with them, you've been honest and open with them, you've run through the numbers directly in front of them. And I don't know a lot of mortgage professionals that do that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like it goes back to what one of my mentors, Vishnu says this all the time. People lie, numbers don't, right?
Yeah.
And it's simple as that. And that's what I do. I just provide the numbers and I let you make the decision. I give you your options. It's really that easy, right? There's no reason for me to lie to you. Why? It's like there's really no
exactly.
reason,
And I think it stands out. You're willing to take the time to sit down with a client and run them through the numbers to make sure they feel comfortable.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's really going to solidify any relationship. And I think you deliver that perfectly, man.
Now talking about numbers, right? There's this huge misconception or misinformation where you need a 200K job or you need a $200,000 down payment to make things happen, right? And I could say that in some cases you will need that type of income or down payment depending on the property that you're looking at, but there are ways to definitely navigate that situation, right? And navigate how we can get you into the market, right? You don't necessarily need that 200K or $200,000 income. It just really depends on what you're looking at, and
Of course.
and we're not expecting you to buy. If you come to us, we're not expecting you to buy within the first, second, third month, right? Voice crack, but
It's all good.
It's like whatever. It's not like first, second, third month. We're not expecting that. We're here to coach. We're here to guide. We're here to make sure you guys are going in the right direction. So 6 months down the line, 8 months down the line, 12 months down the line, that purchase that you do make is one that you're really happy with, right? And like I said, when you do this job correctly and you do it right, when you do this real estate right, it's such an honorable job. And when those homeowners finally have that dream of home ownership as a reality, it really speaks volumes for sure.
Definitely. And that kind of speaks to us as well. We're patient and we communicate.
Yeah.
We aren't here to pressure you into something that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like we're here to make sure you're getting the best deal out of it.
Yeah.
And, at the end of the day, your happiness is our ultimate goal.
Yeah. So enough about us, telling you guys why, we are the experts. I mean, we'll let you guys make that decision, right? But going back to what this show is about, this is about us, you guys getting to know us better, more at a personal level, more at a, just at a level where you guys can understand that we're also human. We're not just, guys on Instagram or, on socials just putting reels out. We're here to help and we're here to make sure that you make the best decision for yourself. So, Peter, tell them what we are cooking. I know you kind of talked a little bit about it, but dive a little deeper into that.
Yeah,
What does
so
that look like? What does
really
2025 look like?
Yeah, we really see 2025 as a big year for us, both personally and professionally. I mean, for this show in itself, we have a couple of episodes planned. We're aiming for one a month, but we really want to make sure that it's dynamic and engaging. We don't want to just put out market reports and all that. We want to make sure we're actually adding value to the audience, you guys, to your life, to your real estate knowledge.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we plan to have a number of guests on the show, as I spoke about it at the start. Basically, we want to bring on different experts, different industries, business owners, entrepreneurs, developers. You know, that's I think everybody offers a different perspective, and everybody has had a different experience with real estate.
Yeah.
So
And to piggyback on that as well, we're going to be bringing guests in different industries. You know, we want this to make it as we're trying to connect this as much as possible, hence the name Real Estate Ties.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to talk about mortgages, the numbers, what situations look like, right?
Yeah.
We're also going to talk about different products, right? Things that are out there that people haven't heard before or don't really understand properly. Yeah. So even before you reach out to a realtor or a mortgage agent, you'll probably have a lot more knowledge just by being engaged with these episodes, right?
With our content,
and
for sure.
Honestly, we're trying to just make this as realistic, as easy to understand, fun, right? We actually have, 1-2 episodes where it's going to be quite fun. It's not just going to be us sitting down and talking. It's going to be,
we're going to make it.
Let's not talk about it too much.
Yeah, we'll save that for the future.
Yeah, we'll keep them stay tuned.
And then one other thing is we want to try and bring guests on, previous clients, anybody we've helped,
professionals in the industry,
who can give us,
different industries. Yeah, we already said that, but yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all we really have to say in this introductory episode. So, I guess to wrap it up, follow Mr. Mortgage on Instagram.
Yep.
Follow myself, Properties with Peter, as well. But make sure you also subscribe to the Real Estate Ties YouTube channel and drop the Instagram page a follow as well.
Yeah, Real Estate Ties. That's what it is.
Real Estate Ties. Yes, exactly. Nice and simple and easy.
Okay, great.
All right. Well, on that note, I got to run. I've got an open house to get to.
Let's get it.
This is good.
I think we messed up the mic there. Nah, I don't know. Maybe.